Howdy, 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 my name is Anasha Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. I noticed at the end of the last episode that I'm finally closing in on 1100. I don't know when we're going to get there, but as for now, let's just see how long the video is when we're done with these 5. So, starting with university speakers. They're safe. The 2 iterations of 1081 currently in Foundation possession are to be kept in an insulated, lead-lined containment locker in Storage Unit 13 at Site 38. Except for experimental purposes, it is never to be exposed to electric current under any circumstances for fear of accidental activation. It is never to be removed from its containment locker except by disposable tubes with noise-canceling headphones active at all times. So, SCP-1081 1 and 2 are identical copies of a black audio projection unit in the approximate shape of a small humanoid, 30 centimeters in height. So, it's a university speaker that's shaped like a university speaker. Aha. Being identical, they can be referred to collectively as 1081. Markings on the speaker's exterior indicate that they were produced by a company known as Ekis Projector Combine, and a place called Abu Bakari of Deserts, or Abu Desis. The speakers have input ports for several unknown types of electric cable, and dials on the back of the head for density, rapidity, and a switch that can be adjusted to inactive, active, shutdown, or reactivate. Though the power requirements of the device are different from any currently known standard, Foundation researchers were able to build an adapter to power the device at blank point blank volts and blank amps. I assume that A is amps. Similarly, trial and error allowed for the development of input adapters for experimental purposes. SCP-1081 is capable of projecting sound at blank decibels during normal use. The speakers will behave normally, though at somewhat subpar quality standards, during testing of any function other than shutdown or reactivate. When the switch is set to shutdown, the speaker will emit a high-pitched squeal for approximately 10 seconds, a sound described by researchers as being similar to a boatswain's whistle, followed by a voice speaking in an unknown language composed of Greek and Latin words with a syntax and grammatical structure similar to Cherokee. An approximate translation of the speech follows. Alexylva University's Merry Integrators Player Company welcomes you to a show performance farce. Please refrain from thought-provoking, talking, expressing, or otherwise disturbing the players for the duration of the performance. Thank you for your cooperation or obedience. I think I know what kind of whistle they mean, but I don't want to add an entire extra step of editing on myself just to have you guys hear it. I guess I could. Let's see. Boatswain's whistle. Let's see if it is what I think it is. What the heck? Why did it go to Facebook? It was a YouTube link. Why did it go to hold up. Get out of here. Okay, it was a Facebook link. My bad. That one's a YouTube link.
In this segment, I will explain to you the 4 required sounds that must be used in all bosun calls. The first one is a low pitch. The second one is a high pitch. Third is a warbling sound similar to what a canary would make, and we'll explain later on what they are used for. The last one is a trill. The trill is forming a R sound or fluttering your tongue on the roof of your mouth, such as this. The first sound, starting by holding the bosun's call in the proper manner, is the low pitch. I am in a clenched position. I'll explain those later. It sounds like this.
Okay, now we know what it sounds like. The whistle and message will be projected at blank decibels. After this message, subjects exposed to the sound will find themselves completely unable to speak or communicate via nonverbal means, such as through sign language. Medical analysis of affected subjects indicates complete functionality of vocal cords and other non-neurological speech-related systems. However, neurological analysis indicates that the subject is afflicted with a particularly extreme case of Broca's aphasia, rendering them capable of conceiving speech but unable to express such thoughts through verbal or other means. Standard noise-canceling headphones can block out enough of the sound to disable its effect. Current research suggests it was designed with this in mind. Setting the speaker to reactivate will cause a different message to be played. Thank you for your consideration during this performance by Alexylva University's Marriott Integrators Player Company. The show is now at a conclusion. Okay, and what's Broca's aphasia? Expressive aphasia, also known as Broca's aphasia, is a type of aphasia characterized by partial loss of the ability to produce language, spoken, manual, or written. Although comprehension generally remains intact, a person with expressive aphasia will exhibit effortful speech. Okay, so it's people who can understand communication but not do it. Followed by a similar whistle sound. Subjects hearing the second message will experience a reversal of their aphasia symptoms as if exposed quickly. However, if the aphasia is allowed to remain in place for longer than approximately 24 hours, the subject will be immune to the second message and the aphasia is permanent. Moreover, affected subjects after this point will develop a deep clinical depression and will frequently attempt suicide within the week. This is believed to be a standard reaction to such sudden change in one's ability to communicate, rather than a secondary effect. Experimentation has determined that audio recordings of the respective sounds have no abnormal effects. Only sounds emitted from 1081 transmit their properties to human subjects. When not exposed to power, 1081 will remain inert except for when shutdown, almost at showdown, or reactivate are selected. The speakers appear to be capable of producing those two sounds regardless of any external power supply. The devices either possess internal batteries or are capable of drawing electrical power via indirect means from the room around them. Containment is designed to block any possible conduit for electrical transmission to 1081. Addendum A Recovery Report. SCP-1081-1 was found in a soybean field outside of Redacted, Tennessee on July 18th, 2000-something. The object was accompanied by a basic invoice in a standard shipping container destination marked as Alexylva University Theater Department and an address somewhere in Alexandria of Forests. 2 was found by hikers in a river near Redacted, Tennessee on August the 2nd, 2000-something, just over 2 weeks later. The packaging was identical with 2 exceptions. First, the invoice now included a line reading, "Provided gratis and our apologies for the inconvenience." Secondly, the invoice was accompanied by a short handwritten note in a combination of Latin, Greek, a language similar to spoken Cherokee, and Old English. When translated, the note now approximately read, "Aggie, we have been doing business for a long time, as you are well aware. I swear on the graves of my forefathers that the previous shipment was completed satisfactorily on my end." And it's used to say, I have no idea what could have happened, but now since we both know the rumors, tales, Aggie, look at your own people before you blame us. This isn't the first time something has gone missing heading in your direction. Barca Magnus alone knows where the objects, artifacts are going, unless your natural philosophers are more precise than is presently believed. Threats and recriminations are unnecessary, illegible. So it sounds like the SCP Foundation grabbing these things is getting somebody named Aggie in trouble. Okay, now for the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It's Euclid. Now it says, note, all personnel assigned to long-term work with 1082 are required to read document 1082-25. Okay, and how long is that? The following report was authored by Agent Blank, one of 2 top personnel involved in the containment of SCP-1082. Despite being contaminated by the object, the agent was able to disguise his symptoms long enough to compose and publish this report. The publication of this document on open servers resulted in a containment breach infecting Foundation personnel. All affected personnel have since been recaptured and given amnestic agents. Agent Blank resisted containment and was terminated. These words are written about the book also known as 1082. By the standards of the intended audience of these words, the book can also be described as safe. Presupposing that one wished to stop others from gaining access to the book, the way it could be accomplished would be that this book is to be locked in a metal box that cannot be opened except through the use of 3 different methods, with the intent that this make the book difficult to access. The box that this book is kept in is itself to be kept in a room in a building known as Site 38, particularly at the coordinates of Redacted for security purposes. As the above listed requirements should make clear, the Foundation for which I work does not want anyone to use or get at the book unless the people are scientists that work for the Foundation and are using the book only to find out more about the book so as to better keep others from getting to the book. Pictures that people take of the book can also have the same effect that the book has, but I don't think they know that yet because I've decided not to tell them. I think I might tell them tomorrow, but I also may not tell them at all. If I were to describe the book, I might do so by saying this book is a copy of The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. The title of the book has been signed by the title page of the book has been signed by the author, and the description at the bottom of the page has on it the words, "The Jack, here's to making the world better." The words on its copyright page indicate the book was printed in 1977 in Chicago. The book keeps you honest. Not only can you not lie, you cannot avoid the truth no matter what you do. There are many ways to deceive others, and once you see this book, you are no longer capable of any of them. You cannot lie to people by telling them untrue things, or lie by choosing not to tell them some things, or lie by saying words that mean different things than what is the truth. Pictures of the book do the same thing. There's a picture that I have attached to this report because I want to make everyone see the world like this. I guess tricking is okay, or else it is not tricking if I tell you what I am doing. I just want you to know that, honestly, honesty makes us feel better than we ever thought possible. The Foundation is a stack of lies and half-truths built to protect an entire world built on phoniness and deception. I do not know how long I have before my employers capture and kill me, but there is still time if we move quickly. Is it possible for you to imagine a world in which lying is impossible? You should forget what the Foundation tells you about containment and security. All they want is dominion over the tower of falsehoods that rule the world, no matter the cost. Half of what you know about the Foundation's artifacts is designed to scare you into going along with the cover-up. The truth is, the Foundation has taken so many beautiful tools that could help the human race, and stuck them in vaults underground. Get this file, or at least the picture, and show it to as many people as possible. Before they stop you, I will be dead by the time you read this, but it will be worth it. The truth is always worth it. Please tell them the truth. So why are we supposed to read that? Okay, Euclid. Special containment procedures. 1082 is to be stored in a triple locked safe in a containment chamber at Site 38. The item is to be left in containment except for testing purposes. Now it says indefinitely. No testing or access is authorized at any time. This document is to be compiled through interviews with affected personnel and access to document 1025. Any personnel coming into contact with 1082 are to be interviewed and given a Class B amnestic by force if necessary. It used to say images are to be used only for testing purposes. Now, no images should be produced at any time, with the exception of a single picture appended to the document. Description. Document 1082 appears to be a data redacted capable of causing a particular mimetic phenomenon. This effect has been detected in individuals looking at it, individuals in the same room as it, individuals looking at pictures of it, and those who have engaged in conversation with those people. There is a slight risk of contamination from discussing the nature of the object that it appears to be. Therefore, it is mentioned only as 1082 or the object. The effect can be negated through use of Class B amnestic agents. The effect associated with exposure to 1082 takes the form of a compulsive inability to lie or express any non-literal statement. Affected individuals likewise demonstrate an intolerance towards political correctness, polite obfuscation, or technical language used to mislead others. Written documents by affected individuals bear some linguistic similarities to the speech of individuals with autistic spectrum disorders, often written in a frantic tone and typically eschewing contractions. In early stages, the frustration felt by affected individuals comes primarily in the form of verbal protest and annoyance. However, in advanced stages of the disorder, affected individuals can become physically violent towards those expressing false or misleading views. Individuals suffering from this phenomenon are unable to describe 1082 as an object, referring to it only as the item it appears to be. Individuals not treated with amnestic agents within 48 hours begin to display secondary symptoms. These symptoms take the form of an attack of delusional paranoia, convincing affected individuals that a mysterious worldwide conspiracy exists to suppress knowledge of 1082 and preserve what they believe to be a status quo based on deception, to the detriment of the human race. Due to current Foundation efforts to contain 1082, affected individuals begin to demonstrate particular resentment towards the Foundation and Foundation personnel. The culmination of this resentment in all cases leads to violent attempts to breach containment for 1082 and expose as many individuals as possible to its effects, and it looks like that's its own separate thing. So let's open that in a tab. Addendum 1. During initial containment, an agent who had inadvertently exposed himself to its effects was tasked with the composition of the initial draft of this report. While the resulting report was completely unusable for effective documentation of the phenomenon, the document serves as a useful depiction of the phenomenon's effects. Despite attempts to modify the image, individuals reading the document have a blank % chance of becoming exposed to its effects. Those testing positive for the exposure, determined through post-exposure interviews, must be administer amnestic agents immediately after viewing the document. The file can be read here. Please keep the altered mental state of the author in mind during reading. Okay, and what's this? It is very long. Is it tied to something? No, it's just a tail. Okay. If y'all want me to come back around to that, let me know, but otherwise I'm gonna just keep moving. University Skull. Is this also tied to the Alexylva University? Is there a reason we're just getting an increasing amount of SCPs from that place right now? Well, it's safe, whatever it is. Well, it's a skull. SCP-1083 is to be stored in a containment locker at Site-38 when not in use. I feel like there's way too many things at Site-38. That's... The SCP Containment Breach game has gotta be happening at Site-38, because that's where everything is. It is to be transported to and from its locker only by junior researchers with no previous history of violent behavior, and only while wearing protective gloves. Under no circumstances are personnel with level 2 or higher clearance to come into contact with 1083. Testing with disposable dudes is prohibited due to lack of relevant data collected during experimentation. All personnel coming into contact with it are to be immediately debriefed and sent for psychological counseling. Okay. SCP-1083 is a blue-tinted piece of quartz in the shape of a deformed human skull, 15 kilograms in weight, and with dimensions of 20 centimeters in height, 30 in length, and 12 in width. The skull demonstrates no anomalous properties except when being held by a single person in both hands. When held with both hands, subjects exposed to 1083 will experience a sudden, massive increase in neural activity for 1 to 3 seconds. Afterwards, non-D-class subjects will, in most cases, 87%, experience massive personality changes from their previous state. Affected subjects will typically register a decrease in IQ score of between blank to blank points, rendering them unsuitable for continued employment with the Foundation. In spite of this, subjects will demonstrate greater reasoning skills and use of logic, though their actual knowledge and memories will be lessened. Conversely, all D-Class or other Foundation personnel that have committed violent acts against other human beings will undergo total psychological breakdowns leading to attempts at self-harm and suicide. Subject D-3273, whose status was not connected to a violent act, demoted to D-Class for violation of Foundation protocol, experienced the same effect as the rest of non-D-Class personnel, suggesting the primary importance of pacifistic tendencies. By and large, most subjects exposed to 1083 refuse to discuss their experiences with the object. Between August the 3rd? 1990-something and February the 11th, 2000-something, the only references made to the experience by exposed subjects were by D-Class personnel shortly before their death, some of whom were noted to exclaim, he's right, I deserve it, he's right," or some variation of the same. Neither forced or chemical interrogation has been able to reveal any details about the nature of who he is, or what alterations he makes to the personalities of the affected subjects. Incident Report A. On February 11, 2000-something, Operative 1/1083-237, a Level 1 volunteer, was exposed to 1083. Through chance, 237 was the only recruit with an educational background in moral philosophy. This is believed to be the primary reason for the anomalous results. After exposure, 237 described her perception of the event, timed by EEG as having lasted 1.34 seconds, as having taken at least a matter of days and possibly several months. She described having spent the entire time in an infinite black void devoid of any sensory input. While in the void, 237 claims to have come into telepathic contact with an entity, classified as 1, who engaged her in discussion on matters of metaphysics, logic, and ethics. 237 described the entity's voice as male. 1 refused to reveal any details about itself other than it lived within the artifact and had always done so. 1 already possessed extensive knowledge about every event in 237's life and talked with 237 about the various mistakes and logical errors she had made in the form of Socratic dialogue. 237 described feeling a great deal of anger and resentment towards the entity at the beginning. However, her training in logic and moral philosophy caused her to eventually come to accept the entity's reasoning. According to 237, the entity described the other Foundation personnel that had visited it as unprepared for its experience. It was able to psychologically compel them to use more logical reasoning in their lives, but not without damaging their mental capacity permanently. The entity described the D-Class personnel exposed to it as unworthy, and claimed to have given them the true knowledge of their actions. 237 attempted to leave the Foundation shortly after her experiences with 1083. When she proved immune to any form of amnestic agent, termination was ordered on... Is that November or is that May? It's probably May. May 5th of 2000-something. Addendum 1 Recovery Log. 1083 was recovered from a house formerly used as a safe house by the Serpent's Hand, confirmed by documents located in the building and various graffiti found on the walls. Large quantities of blood were found in many rooms of the house, though no usable samples could be obtained due to what is believed to be deliberate contamination. No corpses were found. The skull was found in one of the bedrooms in the house, along with documentation from the agency known as PTS, or Vitransimum Combine. It seems the skull was in transit between an address in Alexandria of Forest and Delphi of the Oceans. Fragments of a badly ripped note were found throughout the house and pieced together to form the following. Orichalcum Combine of Oceans maintains certainty, pledges that all products will operate, behave to optimal specifications. If unable to please owner, host to fullest degree, please complete form below to fragment lost. Alexylva University Philosophy Department. Place of origin, Alexandria Sylvanos. Complaint, excessively retributive towards life harvesters, borders on pacifistic, violates Aristotelian precedents regarding just war, requesting replacement and reimbursement for dead warriors. Seriously, what is going on with Alexylva University, and why is there such a massive increase in how many of these things are their fault right now? We've gotten like 5 or 6 things from them in the last 2 episodes. What is happening? Damaged Mausoleum. Euclid. Yeah, that certainly is a damaged mausoleum. Special containment procedures. Containment Site 153 has been built around it. Oh, it must be really bad if it's built around the thing instead of them moving it. And the surrounding town, which is, used to say abandoned, mostly abandoned. A fence has been built around the town's perimeter along with warnings of radioactive waste contamination to discourage entry. All efforts are to be made to locate any living descendants of the town's occupants as of January 25th, 1914. Now it says, all residents and descendants are confirmed dead with the exception of one. SCP-1084 is a badly damaged granite mausoleum located in a graveyard just outside a small abandoned village in Coahuila, Mexico? I'm sorry. An engraving on one side of the mausoleum includes the name of the deceased and the following when translated. Born 24th of June 1842. Died 25th of January 1914. Age 71 years. We were wrong. What do they think? They were a witch or something? SCP-909. Oh. Exhumations of the gravesite revealed a long-deceased humanoid with decomposition appropriate for the given time frame. If the gravestone is correct, the body belongs to the American author Data Redacted, who disappeared in Mexico in late December 1913. Analysis of the body suggests it was killed by multiple gunshot wounds at close range, which is consistent with the reports gathered from 1. The anomalous properties that seem to emanate from 1084 are centered on the nearby village. Experimental subjects entering the village feel a strong sense of discomfort and guilt with no discernible cause, and invariably request to leave as soon as possible. All of the buildings showed significant weather damage consistent with a lack of upkeep over many decades. Perhaps most strangely of all, it is no longer possible for any human to recall or record the village's name. This has been confirmed by experimentation even at remote locations, as any conversation about the village, including the town's name, consistently results in all parties forgetting its name. I'm not sure why they felt the need to link to, one of the little misters from Dr. Wondertainment about this, which is what I'm pretty sure what this link is. Yeah, this is, Mr. Forgetful. I don't know why they did that, because that's not how he works. But anyway, the only person living in the village has been designated as 1. Her birth name has been determined to be Estrelita Juarez, if her diary is to be believed. She has lived in the village since her birth in 1896. The woman is mute and spends much of her time wandering the streets of the town silently, stopping only to sleep on the floor of various buildings. Every year, on the 25th of January, one will return to 1084, reach into the mausoleum, and remove a bottle of 7-year-old rum, confirmed by chemical analysis, and a single glass. She will then pour a drink into the glass poured over the grave, place the bottle and glass atop the mausoleum, and lay down. Under no circumstances will one consume any of the rum. Experimentation has confirmed on multiple occasions that no bottle of rum exists within the mausoleum until she reaches in to retrieve it. The woman will then sleep beside the mausoleum, awaken in the morning, and return to the town. Addendum A. Inside the original home of one, a diary was located. Relevant excerpts from the diary translated into English. 21st. The gringo has done nothing since he stopped here but look at me, and I believe I have the opportunity to gain advantage by this. Grandmother always said that Americans had plenty of money, so maybe I can secure some for myself as his wife or through other means. He seems close enough to the grave as is, but not too close to enjoy the company of women. The 24th. Everything they say about Yankees is true. They lack even the barest shred of honor. How could the man put his hands on me in the way of a husband and then refuse me? It sickens me. It is no matter, I will have satisfaction. On the 25th, I have told mother and father. They were angry with me, but far more angry at the Yankee and more willing to act. They have gone out to recruit some local townspeople for the act. It is done, but he tried to escape, but could not accomplish it. The rifles in the town are still warm. Body was left outside of town. 26th of January. Before the pig dog died, he said something about how nobody would ever speak of us again. Nobody knows what he meant, but I cannot help but dwell on his words. It is no matter, he is in hell where he belongs. Oh wait, was the guy Mr. Forgetful? Is that why everything's all messed up? 31st of January. It is colder than usual. Strange things are seen around town and people are concerned. Some have left, some have taken their own lives. We are all concerned. More dead today, hardly anyone around it seems. We cannot even speak of the town anymore. Not 10 of us left, hard to speak. We are sorry. Carried his remains to one of the unused mausoleums and buried him by myself. Took many days. We are sorry. Carved an inscription into the stone. We are sorry. We are sorry. We are sorry. The remainder of the diary is written to the above. So it sounds like this lady tried to trick Mr. Forgetful into getting money out of him because he was an American. And then, when he touched her as a husband would, she got angry, rounded up the town, they killed him, but he was Mr. Forgetful. So is this what happened to the original Mr. Forgetful, and this is why there's a new one? Because of these people? And then he cursed them for it. Do all the Mr. Forgetfuls do that? Do the little misters all have curses if they die? Oh. Pound off the pounds. It's also Euclid. All confirmed copies of SCP-1085 were to be stored in Video Archive 38 Beta at Site 38. There it is again! Maybe y'all really need to leave things in other places. All similar copies are to be located, quarantined, analyzed for anomalous properties, and either released for retail, sale, or contained. Lost my spot, sorry. Copies of 1085 may be destroyed only by disposable dudes. However, given the doubtful benefit to Foundation research and the total unusability of personnel after such destruction, this is generally considered a waste of resources and requires approval from Site-38 Command. Should the number of 1085 iterations become difficult to contain, alternate measures, mass destruction via steamroller or explosive detonation, may be taken into consideration. All civilians affected by 1085 are to be treated as well as possible, though no confirmed survivors have as yet been located. Alright. SCP-1085 is a fitness exercise DVD entitled blank blank 1 month to pound off the pounds, starring the eponymous fitness guru. What was that one dude's name? I forget his name. The DVD contains 4 calisthenic routines of increasing difficulty, each designed to be performed 5 to 6 times per week before moving on to the next level. All of the routines include some form of boxing or martial arts regimen. It places a strong emphasis on cardio and abdominal workouts. 1085's anomalous effects are present in 20-something% of copies of Pound Off the Pounds produced to date. The majority of copies lack any anomalous properties, and neither blank blank herself nor any part in the DVD's production has been verified to be responsible for 1085. These properties begin to manifest when one or more individuals watch the workouts contained on the DVD. Effects vary depending on the routine being done in any given week. The workouts and their effects are detailed below. Due to the large number of copies acquired, authorization given on February the 19th something begin experimental destruction of a limited number of redundant copies. D-Class personnel chosen for this assignment disposed of the DVDs by physically crushing the disc and throwing the pieces into a garbage can. All D-Class personnel who carried out the assignment began developing the symptoms of late-stage 1085 exposure without having actually viewed any of the workouts. Current research suggests that the entity portraying blank blank in 1085 may be an actual organism rather than a hallucination on the parts of affected individuals. Okay, description. Week 1 workout consists of a warm-up session followed by 3 6-minute circuits, 3 minutes of strength training, 2 minutes of cardio, 1 minute of abdominal exercise, and a cooldown session. Workouts will be unusual in composition, but will not be seen as difficult, even for extremely out-of-shape individuals. Such individuals will express surprise at their ability to complete the workout, even with a determination to complete the rest of the month's workouts. The workout will seem easier as the week proceeds due to general improvement of physical conditioning. The host and narrator will provide encouraging words throughout the workout and at the end, emphasizing the ability of the audience to change their lives through positive thinking. No anomalous qualities detected with this workout. Individuals completing this workout once or even repeatedly have been able to stop the workout without negative side effects. A notable excerpt from this workout includes, "This is not just a workout, this is the roadmap for the rest of your life. I know what you're capable of, and you will give it to me, and you will never stop giving. Not ever." Week 2. Similar workout structure as Week 1. However, the workout intensifies significantly in difficulty. Notably, the workout will demonstrate a slight variance depending on the physical ability and willingness of the individual to complete it. Given their successes in Week 1, individuals will feel motivated to complete the workout in spite of the extensive physical discomfort required. Those more inclined to quit find the workout to be slightly less difficult, though the narration will be angrier and more negative in tone. Regardless, very few individuals opt to give up on the program at this point, even when such an option is provided, and even when the individuals did not feel strongly motivated to lose weight at the beginning of the program. Those abandoning the month-long program during Week 2 report recurring nightmares for up to blank months in which data redacted for what feels like days. These nightmares are most common after days in which such individuals eat excessive amounts of fatty foods. Those remaining in the program will report an increasing degree of platonic affection for the host and a desire to please her. Meanwhile, the host will become increasingly agitated with the individual's progress regardless of difficulty or degree of effort put forth. This agitation becomes evident when the host says, "We are all weak, but you are here to bleed the weakness out. I want you to bleed if you have to, and I want you to thank me for the person you become." Similar to Weeks 1 and 2, though workouts will vary in length from 3 to 6 circuits depending on the physical ability of the individual performing the workout. The host commentary will now be overtly targeted towards the actions of the audience, directly critiquing the individual's efficiency, thoroughness, and form during each circuit. At no point will individuals watching Week 3's workout notice anything strange about the host watching them and responding to their behavior with further instructions. When individuals are not performing the workout, they will more acutely perceive their physical flaws and feel motivated to work out on their own, to the point of almost totally eschewing motor transportation in favor of running and doing calisthenic exercises, such as push-ups and crunches, in as much of their spare time as possible. This effect will often endanger affected individuals' social status, as others will perceive marked irregularities and eccentricities in their behavior. Affected individuals will increasingly ignore outside criticisms of their behavior in favor of what blank wants. In spite of any degree of physical conditioning and devotion to the host's will, no circumstances developed in testing in which any individual has been successful in placating the host, who will show only disgust with the individual's progress. At the end of the workout, the host will always say, "I wanted so little from you and you failed me. I will never be finished with you." Week 4. Once an individual begins to watch the Week 4 workout, they can be designated as SCP-1085-1. The workout consists of a video of the room in which all other workouts took place. The room is empty and silent. Individuals who have carried out the workout regimen to this point will begin to display emotional distress, frequently begging the television screen to bring her back or something similar. One instances will then begin to exercise compulsively and without provocation in front of the screen, often while crying. The video will last as long as the individual remains in front of the television. However, one instances will eventually leave the vicinity of the television. After watching the video, all instances will experience a total psychotic break from reality. Individuals will begin exercising compulsively and without rest. This may involve running, calisthenic exercise, jumping rope, or any other exertive activity. Many will refuse to speak during the activity or will repeat "never stop" again and again, one of the host's mottos. This panic exercise regimen will continue until affected individuals are physically incapable of further movement. If not given sustenance, one instances will starve or dehydrate. Such individuals must be physically restrained and immobilized to avoid death, though one instances thus restrained will claim to see the host screaming threats and obscenities at them. The resulting sleep deprivation is often fatal. Antipsychotic medicine and sleep-inducing agents have no effect. Addendum B. Experiment carried out on February the 12th something into potential treatments for late-stage 1085 effects. One individual, D5656, was exposed to all 4 weeks over the course of 4 days, developing symptoms along the expected schedule. After developing into the 1-stage, subject was given repeated class amnestic treatments. Upon waking, subject was determined not to recall his name, his crime, or the past 7 years of his life to any extent. When asked to describe the individuals he saw in the room with the head researchers and one nurse pregnant, subject described Dr. Blank, Nurse Blank, and that angry-looking bitch who keeps glaring at me. Subject described an individual with Blank Blank's appearance, though with what he described as multiple open wounds on the limbs and a distorted face. Subject began to display agitation and fear and requested that the third individual stop screaming at him. When told that there was nobody else in the room, subject rose from the bed and responded, "Funny, that's what she says about you," before commencing a series of jumping jacks. Addendum C. SCP-1038 is currently being considered for possible cross-testing involving 1085 and several other media-based anomalies. Cross-testing is currently pending approval by Site-38 Director Jones. And what was this one again? Audio-video cable measuring. The properties manifest flow to a TV. While the device was selected kind of television will instead display what can be described as an alternate reality okay! They want to see if they can cause an alternate reality version of that lady. Now, let's see if that's actually a thing. Pound off the pounds. That doesn't seem to be an actual thing. Okay, I was curious. And like I said, if the episode had run like one of the quicker ones, I would have probably kept going. But it didn't, so I'm going to stop this episode here. And the next one, we're going to check out Second Brain Syndrome, White Tarsier? The Eternity Ward, the ICUC, we all see ice cream, and the cordless headphones. If you liked it, a like and subscribe would be groovy. If you didn't, you need to do either one of those things. If you'd like to click the bell, you can do that as well. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.